Hey you guys, it's Miss Michelle, and I'm back today doing another video. Today I'm not doing a review video. This is actually answering a question. One of my viewers wants to know why I'm transgender. I kind of touched on this topic a little bit in another video, but I don't think I ever really went in depth and talked about why I'm transgender. Growing up, I always felt more feminine than masculine. I was always into more feminine things. I never wanted to play football or go out and get dirty or wrestle. That was never really my thing. I was always into more feminine things. I was always interested in hair, makeup, Barbie dolls, things of that nature. I never really wanted to play with Tonka trucks or, watch football or anything like that. So at first, growing up, I figured, like maybe I'm just a gay boy. And as I grew up a little bit more, I realized, and once I found out what transgender was, I was like, okay, I think this is more so what I am as opposed to being gay. Some people consider people like me gay. There's a difference between being gay and being transgender. There's a difference between sexual orientation and gender identity, but some people just, think that we're drag queens or that we're gay or, things of that nature when that's not the case. Gay is someone who identifies as male who likes other men. That's gay. Transgender is you are male, however, you don't feel male. You feel more so the opposite sex than the sex that you were born. So there's a lot of people out there that just, just like, oh, you're just a gay man, or oh, you're just confused, and things of that nature when that's not the case. I just don't think people are very educated on what being transgender is, which is why I am trying to touch base on that in this video. Now, before I really get into this, this is by no means a guide to why every person out there is transgender. And I talked about that in a previous video. I talked about people transition for many different reasons. I'm just giving why I, Miss Michelle, why I feel that why I'm transgender. I cannot speak for every person who is transgender. I can only speak for myself. So I'm going to give you why I'm transgender. I already touched base on, how I felt more feminine growing up than masculine. I didn't feel like a little boy. I thought I didn't want to wear boy clothes. I thought that dresses were cute, but at the time, you're little and your parents are not about to buy you a dress, so you have to buy whatever your parents put you in. When I was 18 is when I realized I was transgender. I started, buying makeup and, buying girl clothes, buying weave. And at first I would not go out the house because I was just really scared and, I didn't know how society would react to me going out as a female. So I was very shy. I did not want to go out. If I would go out, I didn't really want to say much because I was very insecure about my voice. It was just a lot of things that I was not comfortable with at the time. I wasn't really comfortable with myself the way that I am now. Even looking back on my YouTube channel, you can tell that I'm much more comfortable now than I was, prior to the videos that I have up now. So that I was definitely very shy. I felt very awkward, but as time went on, I got more confidence, and I started learning, better makeup techniques and things of that nature. The second thing that I wanted to talk about why I am like this is because growing up, I always just admired beautiful women. Even now, I still admire beautiful women. And I was like, wow, I really wish that, I could be pretty like that. And, things like that. I was like, wow, I want to have really long hair when I grow up. And so, as time continued, I guess that's what I sought after. I wanted to just be beautiful like the women that I saw growing up, and I was just like, wow, if I could be like this one day, that would just be so great. Speaking of looking beautiful, I am looking so nice today. Because oh yes. Oh yes. Mm-mm-mm. Nonetheless, I am looking beautiful today. Do y'all like this new wig I have on? I made this last week, I think. I like this. Alright, well, we'll get to that later. We'll do that. That's for another time. Nonetheless, but I always just, I was like, wow, I think women are so beautiful. If I could be beautiful like that, that'd be great. And so, once I turned 18, at first when I started wearing makeup and things like that, I was like, well, I don't really know if this is for me. I don't think this is going to work. But, as I learned, different methods, using different products, better products, I became more confident in myself. As you see now, in a prior video, I have no problem going out in public. When I go out in public, nobody really pays me any attention. Like, nobody, and I think that's the thing, is being a transgender person, you feel like, all eyes are just on you, like, oh my God, you feel like everybody knows, when that's not always the case. But in your mind, you feel like, like, oh my gosh, everybody knows, what am I going to do? You feel like, everybody's looking at you, which, they're, most of the time, they're not even paying you any attention. Like, they're too busy, worried about what they're doing. But at the time, that's how I felt, like, oh my gosh, everybody knows, everybody's looking at me. And don't get me wrong, there are going to be times when people know, but it's not where just like everybody, when you walk out, everybody's just like, oh my gosh, look, oh my gosh. It's really not like that. But I think as a transgender person, in your mind, especially when you first start out, that's how you feel. The next thing I wanted to talk about, I had to make a list so I wouldn't forget. The next thing I wanted to talk about is sometimes people, this isn't really a reason why I became transgender, but this is just something I want to clarify. Being transgender and being a drag queen is different. A person who is transgender feels like the opposite sex that they were born as. Someone who is a drag queen is an entertainer, a female impersonator. They do not want to live their lives 24/7 as a woman. And so it's definitely a difference between being a transgender person and being a drag queen. People who do drag, I don't know, I'm pretty sure somebody out there that's watching this video has seen RuPaul's Drag Race. And a drag queen, they get out and entertain and have fun. They get on stage and lip sync and dance, and their makeup is just amazing. Amazing. But they do not desire to live their lives 24/7 as a woman, which I think some people I think sometimes people consider us the same thing, like, like we're just drag queens, or we're just men who dress up, which that's not the case. Sometimes when people start out as transgender, they can't live their life 24/7 as a woman just because of different kinds of circumstances. It could be that they're living with their family and their family isn't accepting of it. It could be because of their job. There's lots of different reasons why a person could not live their life 24/7 as the opposite sex. But someone who is transgender does desire to live their life 24/7 as the opposite sex and be seen as the opposite sex. Next thing is, wait. Okay. The next thing is, like I said earlier, sometimes people just be like, oh, you're just gay, or oh, you're just confused. And I think sometimes people think that every person who is transgender desires to become 100% like physically female, which is not the case. This is definitely something I want to touch on. Some people who are transgender do not desire to want to be 100% physically female. Sometimes people who are transgender do take hormones. Sometimes people who are transgender are okay with, just doing whatever they do, like wearing makeup and wigs and things of that nature. Some people do want to get surgery, gender reassignment surgery. Some people just want to get, facial feminization surgery and breast implants and keep their penis. Not every transgender person wants to get a sex change. And I think that's something that people are often confused about. They feel like when you're transgender, like the first thing they want to ask you is like, are you gonna get, and then they don't even say, are you going to get a sex change? They're like, are you gonna get it cut off? That's like the first thing they want to ask you, and I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go with this. And so that's not always the case. But typically, like 99.999% of the time, that's the first thing people ask you when you're transgender. It's like, oh my gosh, are you gonna get it cut off? And I'm like, there are so many other questions that you could ask me, like, what is it like being a transgender person? When did you know that you were transgender? What caused you, what made you decide that, this is what you were? When did you find out? How, just so many different things, but that's usually the first question they go for. Nonetheless, there are so many different things that people can ask you, and I feel like sometimes people just see us as, okay, I still got plenty of time. I feel like sometimes people just see us as these people who are just objects. Like, I don't feel like people really see us as people. I feel like, they just see us as like some type of mystery. Like, oh my gosh, so what is this? What is this? Are you going to get breast implants? Like, people just have that's like the first thing they go for. They don't really ask about like your experiences as a transgender person or things of that nature. That's the first thing they shoot for. And that's it, just throwing like a million questions just about physical things. And I'm like, it's not always about the physical things of being a transgender person. But though for me, those are the reasons I define myself as a transgender person. I'm much more comfortable living as a female than a male. I prefer the way I look as a female as opposed to the way that I look as a male. That's just me. This is just who I am. And I think it takes a very brave person to step out and be different and be who you are. And I feel a lot of times, sometimes people are too afraid. Like, sometimes people will be transgender, but they're too afraid to go out and, say this is who I am, or go out and actually, live life as the opposite sex. At first, I was definitely very afraid, but me, I'm always so thankful that I conquered this at a young age, because I'm 21. And I'm always so thankful that I conquered this at a young age, because some people get into their like 30s and they are still just afraid to go out and be who they are. So I'm definitely thankful that I conquered this at a young age. However, it is never ever too late to truly be who you are. And that's something I definitely want people to understand, is that it's never too late to, step out and be like, look, this is who I am. Some people are going to accept it, some people are not. And that's with anything. That's with being gay, that's with being transgender, that's just with anything. People, there are always going to be people who accept it and people who don't. Certain hairstyles you get, there's going to be people who like it, there's going to be people who don't. You can't please everybody. And I think growing up, that was my problem, because I've talked about this on my channel. Growing up, I was just very depressed, because I was always, trying to make everyone happy, make my parents happy, because at the time, my parents did not approve, because like I said earlier, at first I just thought that I was a gay male, and my parents did not approve of that. And so I tried dating girls, and I felt like, well, maybe if I date girls, then, I'll be straight, or, maybe if I do this, I'll be straight. But it didn't work, and I realized, I have to stop doing this, because I'm only hurting myself, and they're still not accepting me. So eventually you have to come to terms that, you can't make everybody happy, and that, life is short. You don't have time to just sit around and, be depressed and sad all the time. And that's definitely something I had to come to learn and accept, is that, this is who I am. I can't make everybody happy. I have to live for myself, because I spent so much of my adolescence just being depressed and being sad, and just many things growing up in an abusive household. Because I identified as gay, it was just a lot of things going on. But now, as you see, I've come back, and I'm a much stronger person now than growing up, I ever thought I could have been, ever. So, it's bittersweet. But I just wanted to come and tell you guys why. I hope I answered your question as well as I could. I try to stay on topic. You guys know I can tend to rant a little bit, but hopefully I stayed on topic. I know this video is kind of lengthy. Nonetheless, I do hope I answered your question. Much love from me, Miss Michelle. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later, which will probably be in a few minutes because I'm going to try to do a review video. And then I'll probably upload these and be on my way. So until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.